All right, welcome back, you guys. This is our video on the heart rate PE department assignment for you guys to understand a little bit more of what you need to do to complete these workout assignments for any class in PE. So we are going to have a workout sheet that you will be able to fill out. And on that workout sheet, you will have something that looks similar to this. There'll be a check 1, a check 2, and a check 3. And today we're going to explain how to do that and how you will know that your numbers are correct. So first, we're going to give an example on Mr. Blastic and Mrs. Fay on how to find your heart rate. There are 2 different ways to find your heart rate. The first one is on with your right hand, your pointer and middle finger, and you're going to find your heart rate in between. So if you go down from your earlobe and go straight down, you'll feel in between to that carotid artery, and you're going to feel the beats beating there. Okay, that's one way. The second way is on your wrist, same fingers, pointer and middle finger. You're going to find it on your wrist. Go straight down from that meaty part of your thumb, and you'll find that artery or vein right in between. Okay, and that's where you'll feel your beats. You also see that Mr. Blastic went behind his wrist and found it with his middle finger and his pointer finger on the other side. Okay, so once you find it, we are going to count for 6 seconds. Okay, once you find it, you're going to count for 6 seconds. So ready and go. Stop. Okay, once you have that number in your head, you're going to multiply that by what? 10. Okay, so Mr. Blastic's would be 60, and Miss Faye's would be 60. Okay, so we're going to put that on check 1 because that's before our workout. So they both had 60. All right, so this right here, the 60-60 that we got from Faye and Blastic, that is where they are starting for their exercise. Okay, this is where they're just resting. It's their resting heart rate. In order to have them exercising, their heart rate is going to be going up. So this second number, you're going to see a higher number because that will show that your heart is beating faster to try to get oxygen to those muscles. So we are going to have Mr. Blastic here. We're going to have him do some jumping jacks, and then we're going to check one more time during his workout, and he's going to see how high that heart rate gets. I'm going to count down from 10.
We're going to do 10 seconds?
10 seconds.
Okay. Tell me when to start.
Ready and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remember 2 ways to check your heart rate, your neck or your wrist. We're going to count for 6 seconds. Ready and go. And stop.
10.
10 times 10.
100 beats per minute. My heart rate is going 100 beats per minute right now because of 10 seconds of jumping jacks. That's not enough.
Okay, so we look at the 100 and we're asking ourselves, am I going hard enough? Blastic said, I'm not going hard enough. How does he know that? He knows that because he knows what his target heart rate zone is. Okay, it's a zone. It's 2 numbers. So there's a low number and there's a high number. We're going to explain how you figure this out for yourself. And in order to do that, we're going to do Mr. Blastic and Mr. Faye's so you guys can see what their range is. Okay? So, Blastic, how old are you?
I am 42 years old.
Okay, so you have to find your maximum heart rate first. So it's 220 minus your age. So since he is 42, we're going to do 220 minus 42, which is 178. That's the first number we're going to find.
That's my maximum heart rate. That's as high as I ever want to go with my beats per minute. 178.
Okay, so Miss Faye, how old are you?
I'm also 42.
Okay, perfect. Simple. Okay, 220 minus 42, also 178. That's the first number that we need to figure out before we can find out what our range is. So we take the 178 and we're going to plug it in up here to find out what our low number is. So we're going to do 178 times 0.6, which is 60%. Okay?
Now, am I going to want to be working out at my lowest beats per minute target heart rate? No. So we're going to teach you also how to go all the way up to 90% of your ability and what your heart rate looks at that type of exercise.
Okay, so 106.8. So Mr. Blastic was at 100. So the low end is 106, so he was not going hard enough. So he needs to make sure that he is going a little bit more, or maybe a little longer, or faster in order to get his heart rate up. Okay, same number for Miss Faye. That's the low end. So if we take it and do the high end,
90%. Working out at 90% of your ability.
that's going to be 160. So the range that this number during your workout should be for Miss Faye and Mr. Blastic, it's going to be different for you guys because you're younger. So 106 and 160, this number here should be in between those two numbers. So we're going to look at what Miss Faye does when she does her, what are you doing?
Squat, air squats?
Air squats. Okay, we're going to go for 10 seconds. Same thing or longer? Okay. Ready and go. And stop. Okay, check your heart rate on the wrist and go. Stop. 10, so same thing. Okay, so Ms. Faye got 100 as well. Okay, so both of those should they should be going faster, longer, or harder in order to get that number in between these two numbers for them.
Now let's do an experiment. Let's see if I can get my heart rate up to where I want to get it. Now I in my previous exercise, I only reached 106. That was not, or no, I only reached 100. That was not even 60% of my ability. So I'd like to get it up to about 80 to 85% of my ability. So it's going to be probably a little lower than 160. It'll probably be about 140 to 150 beats per minute. Now I only did it for 10 seconds. So this time I'm going to do it for 20 seconds. And as soon as I get done, I'm going to take my pulse again, 6 seconds, count it, times it by 10, and hopefully it'll be up to about 140. Shall we try it? 20 seconds. Ready, and go. And stop. Okay, 6 seconds. Stop. 150. 15 pulses in 6 seconds times 10, 150 beats per minute. You can tell I'm having a harder time breathing. That means I feel like I am exercising at the level where I want to keep it for at least 20 minutes for whatever exercises I'm doing.
So your high rate is more of a cardio rate. That means that you're working your heart muscle more. If you are working out at the low end of your heart rate, that means that you're doing more of a fat burn or a calorie burn, which is also a good thing, but you're not working that heart muscle as much as you would be if you're at 85 or 90%.
Also know that, yes, Blastic and Faye are doing this for 10, 20 seconds. Your check number 2 is going to be about halfway through your workout. So at the beginning of your workout, you're going to take your heart rate before you start. And then about halfway through your workout, that's when you're going to do check number 2. And then after you do your cool down is when you will do check number 3. So after you do your stretching at the end of your workout and you cool down, that's when you do check number 3. All right, so we went off air for a little bit so that we could get our 2 wonderful teachers here to bring down their heart rates after about 3 minutes of resting. And now they're going to check it again so that we can get our check number 3. So we're going to count for 6 seconds again. Ready and go. Stop. Okay.
7 for me. 70 beats per minute.
I had 8.
70 for Blastic. 80 for Faye. Okay, so it's not quite down to the resting heart rate, which is totally fine, but it is lower than where they were during their exercise portion. Okay. All right, so for your assignment for this lesson, you are going to find your own check 1, check 2, check 3 heart rate that you are going to either choose to do the jumping jacks like Mr. Blastic, or you're going to choose to do the air squats like Miss Faye. You are going to first take that check 1, remember your resting heart rate, and then you're going to do that exercise movement for 20 to 30 seconds, and then you're going to do your check 2. And then you're going to let yourself cool down for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then you're going to check again and write that number down. So in the assignment, we want to see the check 1, your check 2, and your check 3. The other part of your assignment is we want to have your target heart rate zone figured out for yourself. And we would like to see it all laid out. So we'd like to see how you found your maximum heart rate. We'd like to see the map of the low end and the high end so that we can see what your range is for your individual self. You will find that on Canvas. You will go into your assignments to the heart rate PE department assignment, and you are going to find where you can submit that information for us. All right, so usually with this assignment, us teachers find that a lot of kids have questions. They're confused a little bit. So we have a couple questions that the teachers came up with that maybe you might have. Mr. Wilson.
So in order to figure out my resting or my heart rate, I went 6 seconds and I multiplied by 10. What if I wanted to go longer, like 15 seconds and multiply by 4, or 30 seconds and multiply by 2, or even take it for the whole minute? Can I do that?
Yes, you can take it for the 6 seconds, multiply by 10, go for 10 seconds, multiply by 6, or like Mr. Wilson said, you can go the whole minute. However you're going to do it, but you need to make sure that you're multiplying where it reaches that minute that you need to take that heart rate. Ms. Faye.
Is there a right or a wrong answer to this? How do we know if we're doing it right?
Okay, so you want to make sure that your numbers, when you're looking at your numbers, those numbers are individual to you. So that's why you need to figure out the target heart rate zone. So you should be able to look back and look at the target heart rate zone and see that your number ranges in there. We had a lot of random numbers that got thrown at us this spring where we had kids that had their resting heart rate at 16, which would mean you're pretty much dead. Or you're at 280 during your workout, which again, you're probably dead. So make sure that you're looking at that number and that range is in between that target heart rate zone that you figured out.